Here we are again. We're going to another plantation. Oh, we are searching about plantation because it's very interesting. It's a historic place again. Oh God, you dropped it? This sign is the gate going in. So we have a little drive to go. Let's see what we have in there. Oh wow, I like this place. More trees to go. Oh wow. Are you sure? Oh, this is nice. I know, we just finished the other one and we came over here just to have another 15 minutes after the other one, you know that? This is different. This is different. Yes, Leilani. We're going into the house for a tour. So this will be the house over here. That's the plantation house. Looks like it was renovated. Wow. Look at their houses used to be back then, 1900, 17. Yeah, this is it. It's like this is their back porch back then. Oh no, the front porch. This is their front porch though. Wow, look at those French door back then. That's their French door.
My name is Christy and I'll be your guide today.
Oh, nice meeting you. Just two of us?
Yes,
Yeah.
just you two today. Well, for right now.
So this is servant quarter?
Yes, okay. So the house was built, or it started to be built in 1803. And originally this room was the kitchen. And we had this little bread oven. And you would put the coals in, you would heat it, get it on fire, let it warm up, and then you'd rake the coals out. And then you would put your dough, your bread dough or your pastries in. And so this was the kitchen for about 3 years. And then in 1806, they moved it out back. And this room became hired servants' quarters.
Okay.
So this room is where Audubon actually stayed with his apprentice, a young man by the name of Joseph Mason. You can see the little two beds right here. And this is actually Audubon's writing desk.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Hi, amazing.
Okay. And this is the dining room, and this was always the dining room. They never moved it, and we know this because this Ponca fan. It was hanging here from day one, and it's never been moved. And so we got this. We took the Ponca fan from the British, and they took it from India. So in India, a Ponca walla would pull the cord, and then it would make the fan move. In here, we would have an enslaved child that would sit in the corner and pull it.
Oh.
And then it was we have the fan to create air movement and also to keep the insects away. So a lot of people refer to the punka as a shoe fly.
Shoe fly.
Yes. And you'll notice in this room, it's a raised basement. You can get the feel of the, step down and then the lower the ceiling.
Yeah.
For example, the house is facing the east, so the sun rose here and then would set over here. That way the front of the house would always be shaded. So they would open the windows and create air movement, air flow, and then, have the fan as well. And the bricks were actually placed into the ground to absorb the moisture and to try to at least make it a little bit degrees cooler in here.
Yeah.
And so we had 4 generations of family living at Oakley over about 150 years, yes, and they were the only family that ever lived here. So these pieces right here, and here, and here are first generation family. Here's a family lived here. But we dated here. The furniture is very minimal and understated. It was the Regency era, so they didn't like to, I guess, voice their wealth. But this family was one of the
Very simple then.
They
what
did,
you were saying.
They did during this era. Now, when the Victoria era came, they had all the grand furniture and statement pieces, but during this time it was understated.
So when did you put the?
So this is the original China pattern for the family. This is a replica, of course.
Yeah.
The family one is in the back of the country that we can see just now. There's a page with the family is original and it's in
I was
the
thinking
back.
I'm gonna ask you how many generation on those plates.
Well,
been.
No, that's not.
That's what
I
she
know
said
already.
is, So it's totally different grade, huh?
So you want air movement and to keep the insects away.
Wait a minute, so the slave, she has to pull that
They would pull it
string.
and it would make it
Oh,
fan.
because there's no electricity
That's right.
back then.
No
Okay.
electricity, no running water, no air conditioner, no heater, no inside bathroom, nothing.
Wow. But the thing is, they're rich. Why they cannot create the?
She left in 1942, and she still didn't even have. She had a telephone. This is a plate warmer, so you would keep it by the fire, and then it would warm the plates. And it was customary during this time for your food to be served on a warm plate.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting.
It's time to go if the plate is not warm.
If you get served a
So
cold plate,
what? So I don't have a job then. I have to find another job that.
basically, or even if you were just a
Oh my
guest
God.
and you got served a cold plate, it's time to
You're
go.
gonna tell. What's that?
This is we burned whale oil because we were very wealthy. We burned whale oil. We didn't burn beeswax candles or anything like that. And Spain rule at the time. And Spain had a fire code. So these leather buckets were filled with sand, and they were the fire extinguisher. So every room in the house had to have at least 2. And so you would, in case of a fire, you would
Just
find patterns, and those were for each generation of the women that lived here. And on the top left, you'll see the pewterware. That is, all these dishes are family. Pewterware was 1760, so it actually predates America. And the problem with the pewterware, it was made of tin and lead.
But
Do y'all have any questions about this?
so they are very tall. Why this one is too low at the time?
I'm really not sure.
They're tall people.
These were originally,
no, if they're British, they are not tall.
and we'll go into the room to the left, and we'll come back out this way. All right, and here, do you feel the lean?
Yeah.
This was because this right here was originally the outside porch.
Okay.
So to get from upstairs, downstairs, vice versa, you would have to go outside in the weather and go up and down. Eventually in 1880, closed the porches, some kind of money. But this is actually a calculator. This is
What?
the English version of an abacus.
I know what abacus is. Oh, really?
That's a different abacus.
Our family, McIntyre, and actually all the books in this that you see in the house are family as well. So in 1818, James Pierre, the man of the house, during the day, this room was the family library.
Okay.
After the evening meal, they would turn into the gentleman's parlor, where the women were not allowed to come. The gentlemen would come in here and they would smoke their cigars and tobacco, drink their whiskey, gamble, talk about politics, rebellions, business, things like that.
Yeah, you can see that in downtown Abbey.
Exactly. This is a portrait of James Pierre. He was the man of the house. He was Lucretia built Oakley. And he was from Scotland. And a lot of people wonder, they assume that we get our name Oakley because of oak trees or it's made of oak, but we actually don't have any oak in this house. The floors are hardy pine, and they were all from the trees around when they cultivated no oak.
Okay.
And Oakley actually gets its name because
Oakley is common. So he's a Scottish come back here to honor slavery. Yes.
And so this map is Louisiana Plantations.
1848.
1848, and we are around here. And
Okay.
all the little dots you see, those are all plantations.
Where's the river of this?
The Mississippi River?
Yeah, because I want to know how far it is. Because she said that this is a 3,000 acres.
I believe the Mississippi River is right here.
It's too far away. She said they don't make
The river is actually this Spanish pieces of Spanish real. So because we were under Spain for a time, and the tender was, once we became not under Spain anymore, the legal tender still was the Spanish real for a time period. But so this was an 8-base system, not a 10-base. So you would have to cut up the real to get change for $1. So have you ever heard the little phrase 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, $1?
I heard,
That's
but
what it is.
that's what it is.
Mhm. So you would,
Wow.
yep.
Because
What it looked like.
Yeah.
And to the family, this was considered subflooring, so they would have rugs everywhere. They didn't want you to see this. It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
And you'll see these doors. There are 5 doors. This one and then the ones in here. These are cypress doors. Cypress. But
Cypress.
we didn't like cypress. It was kind of frowned upon because you would have to go into the marsh to get cypress.
Oh.
So what we did is they would paint it with a faux bois technique to resemble pine or oak. All right, and in this room we have the grand parlor for it is to entertain guests. You can move all the furniture out the way, have host parties, dancing, music, things like that. So this is actually Lucretia. This is the lady of the house.
That's Lucretia.
That's Lucretia. She's in black. She's in mourning. She had actually lost her 5th out of 7 children when this was painted. This is her daughter. This is the Audubon connection. The family they were in New Orleans for a time for a visit, and they saw Audubon giving lessons to a young man, and Eliza liked it, so she asked her mom if they could art, drawing, colors, mathematics, French, and even hair braiding. And so this salary was $73 a year, his annual salary. Audubon was paid $60 a month, plus free room and board to come tutor Eliza. So for about every month that he was here, he pretty much made almost a year's worth of salary.
So, Audubon is a man with lots of knowledge.
With lots of...
With brain.
Yes, yes.
What he graduated?
He was originally from Haiti, and he actually had he didn't have a lot of formal schooling.
So that's the slave.
No, he wasn't a slave. He was hired. He was a hired tutor.
Tutor
He
to
was- he
the
wasn't a
Audubon
slave, but
family. Yeah.
For Eliza.
Other son.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, if he's from Haiti, is he colored or white?
He was a little. He was.
It's like a Spanish problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think you wouldn't look at him and be like, oh, he's
I
dark or anything.
I thought it was, you said Haiti means,
Exactly. I know. A lot of people.
but they're American.
They're under prisons?
So the rarest piece in the house is this pianoforte. It was kind of the transition to the piano. So this is the harpsichord, but before the piano.
Mm. Okay.
So if you play that one, it's so loud.
Well, it doesn't work anymore, but they say it was very beautiful. It was like it's more of a harpsichord than a piano feel.
Oh, so this is the original, really original from.
This is
Oh
it's
my
one
God.
of 6 in the world.
6 in the world.
Yeah.
That's
What they call this one?
It's a
pianoforte.
FORTE. I
Yeah.
think it's a Davis and Gibson.
Yeah.
Lucretia. Eliza's 16 in this picture. So in this room,
Lucretia, I thought it's
No, but
it's a
Lucretia or Lucretia?
Lucretia,
Lucretia.
Lucretia.
Okay.
Lucretia.
You know, I thought it's a black name, but it wasn't.
I know. That's what I thought too.
See?
When I first heard, I was,
Lucretia, I thought it was a black name,
I thought
but
it was kind of
wasn't.
like a Creole kind of thing, but no, it's 10 years after this.
Oh, the same lady.
Yes.
Okay.
So she's in mourning. Eliza, she marries 3 times and she has 7 children. So her first marriage, it was kind of a scandal. She ran off with a man that her family did not want. But she didn't care. She was marrying for love. She knew that she was going to be disowned. It's Scottish color. He gets that from his grandfather. But you can see from this picture that he is not wanting anything. He's not dirty. He's not hungry. He's very well dressed. I mean, he's got this little attitude going on.
Yeah, flute.
And the carved flute is a symbol of esteem and wealth. So he wasn't hurting for anything. So when Eliza came back, she moved into her in-laws' plantation down the road, and she was fine there. And then eventually, Nathaniel, he's a northern minister.
So Mary, that's a third husband.
It's her second
Oh,
husband right now.
Okay.
So she marries Reverend Bowman, and he actually established the Grace Episcopal Church here in St. Francisville. And so he came from Pennsylvania, and he was his family was very wealthy, but he was not the inheriting child, so he came with nothing. So they have 4 children, and she dies at the age of 47, giving birth to their last child. So Isabel, their daughter, she inherits Oakley after Eliza dies, so that's 3rd generation.
You said they have 2 kids with this guy, and you don't know the name,
Yes,
correct?
Isabel was the daughter, and I
One.
want to say the son is
Stacy, let's say Stacy, baby.
it was a son, and he actually
A
married.
son, okay.
He married,
George.
George married the daughter from Rosedown, Sarah, so he moved over and lives at Rosedown.
Oh.
So, okay, so Isabel married, she got Oakley, and I believe they had 6 children, her husband.
I know, I remember Nita's house.
Well, that's not as old as this one. But
No, the stairs is so stiff. On my knees. I'm old to have that stairs.
No.
Yes, okay. Imagine being rich before.
They actually had a full-time seamstress as well. She made everything from their socks to the underwear to men's suits and women's ball gowns. And so she was actually paid $13 an hour, where the average man was $15 an hour. So they paid her very, very well as well. Carpeted. And we know that because you'll see on some of the boards the tack marks. And then in the corner behind you, this is a sample of it. It was a woven burlap hand paint, a varnish. So it's kind of waterproof. So you'll think of it more as linoleum than a carpet.
That's your bedroom.
I believe the ceilings seem lower, so it might be the 8-foot ceilings, but I believe it's 19 by 23. You'll see that this is this is called a lady's hat tub.
Wait a minute. Ladies' hot tub?
Ladies' hat tub, because it looks like a lady's hat.
Yeah.
So what you would do is you would sit right here and you would put your feet in the water. That way you can remain fully clothed, but you can wash your feet. So remember, back in this time, they thought it was unhealthy to be wet and clean. because they didn't have antibiotics then, they didn't, things like that. So they would wash their hair about once a month and their body about once a week. But they could wash their feet every day if they wanted. And then over here you have, you know, a little wash station.
Yeah.
So you can wash your hands, your face, you can brush your teeth, the men could shave. And then over here we had your chamber pots.
Yeah.
And this bed is a 1840s Sheraton and McIntyre, the same that was the secretary in the bookcase.
Okay.
And this is called a birthing bed because it was lower and wider. Ideal for getting birth, I guess. And in the winter, they would have these big curtains to keep the warmth in.
So they bring this all down. It's like
In the summer, they
in
would
the
change these out.
Oh,
for
change
mosquito
it to
netting.
okay.
With a like net.
Net.
The mosquito, yeah. The bedroom over, we'll show you that. And you'll notice that this sort of pineapple right here. So during this time, pineapple was a symbol of harmony. So, another little passive-aggressive thing, if you were ever in the house and you saw a pineapple turned upside down, that was your way of saying it's time to go.
Okay, the termination is cold plate.
So if you get a cold plate and you got a pineapple turned upside down, you need to go.
Jesus.
Oh well.
I'm gonna keep those, not the turns.
And there's another one that I'll share with you in this room too.
Nowadays it's been dead. And really old, but you can have all these things. Anyway.
You can go in here. This is room when she was a teenager. And everything in there is original to her. Everything from the bed to the linens, the armoire, her clothes, everything. And you'll see that in her bedroom, she has a hip tub. So this is the tub where you would get in and bathe your body and your hair, wash your hair. And you can see that she has the mosquito netting, which they would have during the summer.
We had that in the Philippines.
Instead of this is a 1740, I forget where it's from, but the hardware is 18 something, so don't worry about the hardware is from Sears and Roebuck. But this is the oldest piece in the house. And this room was the guest room. So we had a trundle bed, and it would have, a cot underneath to come out.
Pick your own bed, Boots.
And we would have the mattresses where you would tighten the ropes. It was like a suspension sort of thing. You would do that right here.
To just change it to
And so every morning, a slave was assigned to tighten the ropes. So if you come to bed and your bed is not tight, you're sagging. That was a way of saying time to go. So if you go to dinner and you get a cold plate, you see a pineapple turned upside down, you come lay in your bed at night, you're sagging. It's you need to go.
Okay. This termination is so hard.
I mean, they didn't come out and say, hey, it's time to go. They're like very passive aggressive, like,
Pack your things.
pack your things, it's time to go. And so this is a little youth bed. You can see, depending on the child's age, you had the rails, and then it was on wheels, so it was easy to move and wheel into the sleeping porch in the summer.
Oh.
And so this family was, like I said, extremely wealthy, and they did travel a lot. You'll see they have like a hat box right here. They have this trunk, and then the steamer chest, or chest and steamer trunk. So this is 1800s. Do you think it would take longer to go from New Orleans to England, or from New Orleans to San Francisco?
Well, my dad, you go by boat.
San Francisco is closer
Well,
because you can do a wagon. They still have lands then.
now you go by ship.
So Audubon tells a story that it took about 45 days to go from New Orleans to England. It would take about 8 to 10 months to go from New Orleans to San Francisco because you would have to go all the way around South America. This was the frontier. This was 1800s. There was no wagon across the United States. They didn't have trains. There was no Panama Canal, so you would have to go.
I got you.
Isn't that crazy?
They have,
Honey, I have a meeting in San Francisco. I'll see you in 3 years. You know, I mean, it'd take about a year to get there, business, and then a year to come back.
just to drive that wagon.
Right? That just blows my mind.
I want to have that trip this time. By wagon.
You can take that. I'm good. I don't want to do that.
What they call in this area? Sleeping porch.
Yes. So, Pierre, he spent some time in the West Indies. So he brought a lot of those concepts back.
Guys, this is the stairs going to the third floor house. You have to be careful.
It's too hot now.
No, at least we are
Yeah.
we are not outside. Used to be in the other place though. Look at those French door of this house. That's the way they made their houses before. She said we have to go to the right.